Hi, it's Nell, and today I'm going to be doing a project which I do quite a bit of, and if you've watched my channel or read my blog posts, you know it's true. And this is transplanting succulents. And I just want to show you and tell you that succulents transplant ever so easily. Now, some of them are not easy to transplant, like my huge pencil cactus that I'm looking at in that back corner now. I had to cut it back and then transplant it. And my Opuntia Joseph's coat is going to be a little bit of a challenge, but they do transplant very easily. They root in easily. They don't mind being transplanted. And that is the point that I want to get across. So what I consider to be the three most important things to know about transplanting succulents are: what does a succulent like? Because not all of them like full sun. I am here in Tucson, Arizona, and most of my fleshy succulents have to go in almost all full bright shade because the sun will burn them. Now, indoors, you want to give them as high light as possible. And different succulents differ. Like my aeoniums don't like any sun at all here. The aloe vera, can take some sun, but it prefers to have at least shade from the afternoon sun. So that is one thing that is good to know. The next thing to know, which goes hand in hand with this, is the location. Is the succulent going to like the location that you are planting it in? And the third is the soil mix, because it needs to drain really, really well, whether you're planting directly in the ground or you're planting in a container like I am doing today. So right now, I'm going to go get my apron on. I'm going to show you what succulents I'm going to be transplanting, and I'm going to get going on this project that I've wanted to do for a while now. So I just wanted to bring you along on this succulent transplanting ride. All right, it's actually the next day, and I just want to give you a sneak peek of what I did transplant so you can see what's coming up. And I also want to tell you that spring and summer are the best times to transplant these. Into the fall, if you're in a warm climate like me. Ideally, I would have done this about two to 3 weeks ago. But you know how that goes. Oh yes, that is a tomato hanging out of there. It got whipped up by the wind a couple weeks ago. But this is one of the plants that I'm going to be transplanting. It is the Opuntia Joseph's coat. And as you can see, I have it tied to the thermometer because this pot has a false bottom. It actually, I think and the planting point is to about down there. So this needs to have more support. So it is one of the ones that's going in. Oh, and obviously, this one will be a little bit of a challenge. As I said, it won't be easy to transplant it, but they transplant easily. And the other three going in the pot are the variegated aloe, the cat's tail euphorbia, woo, love that crazy one, and also my haworthia that I brought from Santa Barbara. The only thing is the pack rats got at it and chewed a lot of it. Darn them. But it is so ready to go into that pot. And then into that blue pot where the Opuntia is going to go these, which I'm not going to show. I don't think I'm going to do the video about that, but I just wanted to show you these cool succulents. Now, because these succulents don't root very deeply, I have put some soil that came out of other pots. This is mainly succulent and cactus mix in the bottom here. And it's not that old. It might be like a year old. But that way it just saves me having to put a whole bunch of new succulent and cactus mix in here. Okay, so here's the succulent and cactus mix I use. So you can see it close up. It's got big hunks of cocoa fiber, and also it's got nice big chunks of pumice, and it has a little bit of local compost, also made by the same company, called Tanks. And I'm going to sprinkle in some compost now. Some more compost. And there's a little bit of compost sprinkled in there. I'm gonna mix it up a little bit into that layer. And I'm not gonna do any worm compost on the top or in it right now, because it is the very end of November, so the plants will be going into a rest period soon. So come the end of winter here, probably end of February, I will do my top dressing with my worm compost and my compost. Okay, I'm gonna go get the plants now. Okay, so I got the big Bertha over here, just leaning against the house here, and I use tongs. That's my secret weapon for planting things with spines. And I just wanted to show you this, that even though this cactus is quite large, it doesn't have a big root ball at all. So that is one of the reasons why they transplant so easily. Okay, so I got the Opuntia all in, which I am filming myself, so that would have been a struggle to watch me take it out and also to put it in there. But I just want to show you how I take succulents out of pots, or any plants out of pots, any landscape plants, in case you haven't seen that. If they don't come out on their own, I just gently press on the pot, and voila! It usually, most of the time, pops right out. So here's the placement here. The poor Haworthia has been transplanted about 6 times now, and it was looking good until the pack rats got at it, but it will be beautiful in spring. And there's the variegated aloe. The Opuntia, I just need to adjust the stakes on that after the planting is done. And I like the cat's tail euphorbia that sort of leans out to the side, because this is just my sliding glass door, so it's got room to grow there. So now I just need to fill in around it a little bit. Actually, I just ran out of succulent and cactus mix, which is a crisis at my house. So I'm going to have to make do. Oh, and speaking of succulents, I wanted to show you that my beautiful string of bananas is all in bud. It's going to have a lot of flowers on it. And I've done a post. Actually, I've done a few posts on this plant. You can find them in the succulents category on our website. I will also leave the link to that down below. Okay, so it is the next day, all done. Here it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let these settle in for about a week, because it's cool and there's not too much sun on this at all. And then they will get a good watering. And because it's winter, I will probably water them about once every 3 to 4 weeks, depending on the temps. So it's the end of the day. This is the third video I filmed. It's about 4:30. I've been sneezing off and on because there's so much blooming. And so anyway, I'm glad that this is planted. And as I said, come spring, it's going to look great. The Haworthia looks kind of now, but I ended up taking a little bit of the succulent and cactus mix out of the blue pot that the Opuntia came from. just to hold these all up, just to cover them. But that's the other beauty of succulents, is they can stay exposed for it a little bit. It's just fine, especially because they're not getting any direct sunlight right now. So I'm going to take a picture of this in the morning, or a clip of this in the morning when the light is better so you can see it. But it's really not that hard at all to do, and the succulents readily transplant. As I said, this one actually came from Santa Barbara, and I had it in a couple places there and a few places here, and now it's in its permanent home. So I hope you have found this video to be helpful. I love succulents, and actually I found another place in my garden over there for some more fleshy succulents, so that warms the cockles of my heart. But anyway, I have a lot more videos coming your way, so stay tuned for those. As always, I thank you for your likes and your subscribes. I really appreciate them. Now let's get out in the garden, or into our indoor gardens if you grow your succulents indoors, and make our worlds a more beautiful place. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!